So in this video we will start chapter number 7, which is periodic properties of elements, and in this chapter there are 8 topics. Number 1 is development of periodic table, how periodic table develop, and then effective nuclear charges, size of atom and ions, ionization energy, electron affinity, metals, non-metals and metalloid, and trends for group 1 and group 2, and trend of selected non-metals. So in this video or in this chapter, basically you will understand more about the detail about the periodic table and how the properties changes when you will move from left to right or from top to bottom. So let's start a little bit more about the history of the periodic table. So in the topic of development of the periodic table, Mendeleev and Lothar Meyer, they were independently came out the same conclusion about the how elements should be grouped, and mostly Mendeleev get the credit for developing this periodic table. And this is kind of brief history about the periodic table, how elements were grouped over the period of different years. So starting from ancient time 9 element, middle age 6 element, and then in 1735 and 1843 42 elements, and slowly they were keep increasing or removing from this periodic table. And so this is the table which shows the comparison between the periodic properties of silicon predicted by Mendeleev and with the observed property of germanium. So this is the two elements properties were compared by Mendeleev, and mostly chemists credit to Mendeleev because he also used the chemical properties to organize the table and predicted some missing elements and their expected properties, including germanium. So this was little bit brief about the periodic table, and let's see what is the view about the atomic number by Mendeleev. So Mendeleev table was based on the atomic mass. It was not the atomic number which is currently we use, and it was the most fundamental properties of the elements known at that time. That is why Mendeleev used atomic mass. But after 35 years later, when the nuclear atoms was observed by Rutherford, then Henry Moseley developed another modern view of concept of atomic number, and experimentally, so the number of proton was considered as the basis of the periodic table, periodic properties of the elements. So a new version of the periodic table which we are using is based on the Henry Moseley, who developed the concept of atomic number to group all the different elements. And in case of the periodicity, so what is the meaning of periodicity? Periodicity means it is the repetitive pattern of a property for element based on the atomic number. So the following properties we will discuss in this chapter. Number 1 is effective nuclear charge, size of an atom and ion, ionization energies, electron affinity, some group chemical properties, trend, and but first we will look at the fundamental properties that will lead to the different trend and effective nuclear charge. So what is the meaning of effective nuclear charge, and all these properties we will discuss one by one in this chapter.